So I'm back with Darcy again. Now I'm becoming a fan of this 90 Day Fiance shit because I didn't even know this shit existed, and it shows you pretty much the realities of dating of dating when you're older and why it's so difficult to date people in their 30s and up. Because usually by this time period, the only unification of any two people is usually going to be this: one of them's desperate and the other one's fucked up. That's usually what you're going to come across. This is why, since men have the option to date younger, a lot of times they just date younger. They just don't even deal with bitches over 30, 35. Because usually it's going to be one of the two. Either she's going to be fucked up or she's going to be desperate or both for whatever the reason. Now, with that being said, Darcy has now gained my attention for humorous reasons because of this. Darcy is the real life Jan from The Office. What I told you guys about earlier. Jan from The Office. Now, she did make it a little further. It sounds like she actually found a man to fuck her and impregnate her at some period. But her characteristics and reasonings and goals and logic in life is just like Jan from The Office. You see, she doesn't say, I got to put on my shoes. She says, I have to put on my Louis Vuittons. You see, she has to announce that she accomplished something. Like Jan, I have to go see my daughter. Like she doesn't say, I have to go get Cece. I have to see my daughter. You see, she has to put that title because her as a person, as an individual, is a completely rotten, useless individual. So she has to synthetically create reasons why she has accomplished anything in life that nobody really cares about in the end, but she cares about it. And she has to state these accomplishments because the reality of this is, like I say in other videos, it's that sick theory of like attracts like, where she likes that in men, so she thinks if she can broadcast that she did shit that a relative man would do and she would still like it, she's gonna do it too. Because she thinks, in her sick, delusional, twisted mind, she has developed the reasoning that if I become like them, they'll fall in love with me. The man I'm looking for who's on this same thing will fall in love with me. That's why these post-wall women do these things. Now, Darcy, like I said, Darcy is not a beautiful woman. She can dress up and mix and match shit to look kind of decent in certain times. But like we're going to see later in this video, her body is just not what she thinks it is. Okay, she is just that delusional woman who's over 30 or 35-ish, who literally never grew out of being the 20-year-old trying to sneak into the club where all the hot guys are. That was her resting place. And you can also tell this is her resting place because in that hookup culture, people get hired and fired real quick. They get, picked up and dumped like a drop of a hat. So she is at home when she gets dumped. Like, she is comfortable. She doesn't even want to admit it. But bitches like her they're most comfortable when men are leaving them. They don't want it because they know that other women want to see women with men to be deemed successful as women. But see, the sick part of it is she is comfortable. She is not comfortable until a man is upset and walking out on her or dumping her. She's just simply not comfortable. Okay, and these are the pitfalls you have to look out for when if you ever entertain dating a woman over 30, 35. This is going to be the majority of the market. Now, I'm not saying every woman in these age brackets are bad. What I'm saying is this. The reason why most men just don't date women over 35, they'd rather just go single and be alone, is because the chances of you finding a decent one, let's say, for instance, let's say it's a 44-year-old woman. She could have got with a guy, married him at 18, 19, 20, had kids, and then they just got tired of each other. They just dumped each other. And I don't even say dump. They both could agree that the other partner is not a bad partner. They just got tired of it. You see, that happens. Or a woman was with a spouse and the spouse died. Okay, and she's legitimately a sane woman. She has maybe had to work through her mental problems about it, and then however she could move on, move on. There are women who do qualify as generally respectable. Okay, there's going to be issues in them because that's just what happens when things age. There's going to be issues in it. But in relation to what I would call a decent post-wall woman and then a Darcy, and then even worse when they're just like completely fat and fucked up and ugly. The pool is so filled with Darcys and belows or Jans and belows that most men just don't touch women over 30, 35. Most men would rather just play PlayStation all day, absorb themselves in their careers, travel the world, be an ice cream salesman, whatever the fuck. It would be you're going to have a better chance just doing that route instead of all this drama that the Darcys of the world is going to put you through. So let's hear out. So Darcy's getting dumped, which this is her natural habitat, which is clear because the bitch is almost 50, and now she can't even keep a man who's appointed to her from a damn television series. So here we go.
I wanted to stay friends.
Yeah, I don't want to be friends. I'm sorry. I think we're going to walk away completely.
See, hold on.
Fresh start for myself, for my family, for my friends. And it's going to be that way, and it's going to stay that way. Move on with your life. I don't want anything to do with you.
See, all of this shit, move on with your life. I don't want anything to do with you. See, that's exactly what I said. She mentally has never grown out above I say at max 20. Most women usually don't. Whatever most women are at 20, that's usually the extent of their growth, of their mental growth. Everything else is just mimicking what they think other people want to hear. Saying shit like that when you're breaking up, you're horrible, blah blah blah. See, that's shit that kids do. Children do that shit. Grown-ups don't do that. She's not a grown-up. She has the body of a grown-up, clearly. She has the body of an elderly person. But her mind is still childish. That's why she's almost 50, and they have to appoint her men from a television series. Because everybody is dying to see the train. The thing is, I'd say more women than not in her age bracket, give or take 5 or 10 years, are going to be like this. The thing is, most women are at least aware enough that they're fucked up to the point where they know it's embarrassing. So they're not going to put this shit on TV for everybody to see it. Now this bitch is so desperate, she's even going deeper than that. She just put it on TV like, fuck it. I can't get a man to save my life. I mean, she is so fucked up. Like I said in the last video I did on Darcy. Darcy is so fucked up that no man in a 1,000-mile radius will fuck with her. So she has to keep flying motherfuckers in and out of the UK and Europe to come fuck with her. Because no man who's near her and knows that her BS games is going to touch her.
Stay that way. Move on with your life. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want anything to do with you. You are nothing to me right now.
I'm glad.
Yeah, okay.
And try not to ruin the next one.
That sounds exactly like how I would talk to now that part right there, that's exactly some shit that I would say to my ex-wife. Because when I met my ex-wife, she was 32, and that's how I learned dealing with older bitches. And you see it, and you can see it in their eyes, their face, how they just move. Like they are so used to rejection and failure that it's more their home. It is more these post-wall thoughts home to be in rejected, failure, pumped and dumped. They're more comfortable in this environment than they are in a genuinely nurturing from both sides environment. They don't know how to compromise with a man. This woman does not know how to compromise with a man. She does not know how to understand that maybe the world doesn't revolve around her. I mean, look at her. Look at how she's dressed right now. A 45-year-old woman chooses to go on TV dressed like she's a 20-year-old trying to sneak into a club. And she's almost 50. That speaks for itself right there.
of the check, please. I'll pay for his coffee.
See, now peep that shit. Now that's of the game too. Now the older guys, the older guys know this game. Whoever paid was the one who ran the whole thing. Now this works when it's two men, but when it's a man and a woman, it doesn't work when women. But it doesn't work when women do this to men. But see, this is where twisted, delusional feminists are now. They truly believe that they are 100% equal to men, so they can do the same things and be respected in the same manner that a man would be respected in this. Now, if let's say now, if it was me and Tom sitting there and we fell out and he pays for it, then he slid into that, he won that and in that white collar business world, that's who wins. So that's why she did that. She thinks that she won, and she's just looking worse and worse by the second.
I don't know this, Tom. I just
see, and he knows exactly what just everything what I explained. He knows exactly what just happened. Okay, she thinks she's a man, but she's actually looking stupid every time she tries that shit.
Like he never respected me.
And look at this. Look at her. Who the fuck? This woman is almost 50 on a casual date, coming up dressing like this. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely look at her armpit. Look at that fat building up there. Look at her face. Look at the Botox in her lip. This is sad. This is just sad, sick, delusional, crazy, pathetic, just all in one. It's all that wrapped up in $5,000 worth of nonsense. And this is another part that women do not understand, okay? Let's just take, I don't know any actors. Okay, I don't know who's a, okay, let's just say let's use Megan Fox. Megan Fox in her prime, right? Megan Fox can show up in a $3 dress. As long as that dress fits right, that's a bad bitch. I don't care how much the dress costs. You see? But see, women, they don't know how to think in reality. So what'll happen is you'll get these Moniques, you'll get these Rosie O'Donnells. Well, she's a little more dykish. Or you'll get bitches like this. She thinks that she's still worth more because she spent more money on a dress. And it doesn't work like that. See, now you just a fucked up bitch in a $3,000 dress. Whereas, who would I say before? Megan Fox, Beyonce in her prime, whoever the fuck you want to use, whatever color, whatever your taste and flavor, you have to say, okay, that's a sexy bitch in a $3 dress. So, but the core of it is she's still sexy. Women don't see it doesn't work like that. Women do this because, like I said before, women who are in this pathetic boat. They go in this like must attract like scenario. If I walk around in very expensive shit, that makes me more valuable to men. Because in reality, to her, men who walk around with expensive shit around them is more valuable to her. That's why she's doing this. It's not about what she actually likes. It's what she thinks she can trap other men in with. And what she would call like a high quality man, a high value man, where the fuck those reject bitches do, and those reject weak females groups do. This is sad.
Friend or a partner or a lover, like you've been silent for weeks. You want to give it another go. You're with another woman. Like, come on, dude. Give me a break. I'm happy to move on. I got bigger and better coming.
No, sorry, baby. No, you don't. You're almost 50. No. Unless she gets lucky and finds some flat out fool, he's gonna be the last best thing she was able to get. And that's just because the motherfucker's from the UK, and so he's used to seeing fat, fucked up, ridiculous bitches like her, just to use for a while and then throw them to the curb.
You put weight on.
What was that? Yeah, good. Wonderful. Enjoy your life.
I will, now you're not in it.
Good, same here. Good riddance, thank God.
Now peep this last part out. She's getting ready. Everything she's getting ready to say is pretty much going to be the opposite of what she's saying.
He's not a nice person.
He was a nice person.
Disgusting.
She loved him.
He's doing a Jesse.
He's doing a Jesse. Now, if it maybe I don't know if anybody's seen the other video I did with her before, the one that caught my attention with this old bitch, and they cut out like 30% of my commentary because I took YouTube shit. But but Jesse was this 24-year-old guy. That bitch was 43 at the time. Jesse was this 24-year-old dude from the Netherlands. He was 24, right? She lost him within 90 days. I don't even think it lasted that long before he packed the shit and just bounced on the hoe. So now she's trying to say this grown-ass man is, oh, he's just like Jesse. And Jesse's just like blah, blah, blah. And blah, 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 blah. No, see, she's failing to realize, like most of these post-wall thoughts do, she's failing to realize and acknowledge the problem is her. This guy and Jesse can't be too much further from each other than they already are. Jesse is a young dude, probably working as a bartender or some shit like that. This motherfucker, I'm sure he's not working these are just two opposite sides of the universe. He's not being like Jesse. Okay, the core denominator in who keeps fucking up is Darcy, the post-wall thought.
He's doing it to make himself feel better. Like in some weird power position.
The power position. Who paid for the meal? You see, and she knows. See, the fact that she said power position just told on herself right there of what she's trying to do. Like how I explained, who paid for the coffee? That was a power move. But women don't understand that anytime a woman has to take a dominant lead or some shit, she fails as a woman every time. Every time.
Go to your new girl. Leave me alone.
I turned up thinking maybe there was something that was worth holding on to.
You know what? And that's the same thing. Well, I remember I left my ex-wife one time briefly. It wasn't long because I'm in a country where I don't know anybody, and I really didn't want to come back then. But I came back, and you know what? What he just said right there was the exact same shit that I thought as soon as I walked back in the house.
I turned up thinking maybe there was something that was worth holding on to.
Yep, and that's the common, that sentence right there. If you're an older guy who dated an older woman, you know that sentence very well in your own head. You've said that to yourself plenty of times if you dated more than one of them. Because I don't know how much. Look, these women are just defective. Most I'd say at least 7 out of 10. Over 30, 35. They are just defective women. It's not that they were in a relationship and the relationship just fizzled out and they got tired of each other. That can happen because we're all human. I'm not knocking that. But see, there's also like the Darcys, the Jans from The Office. These are defective women. There was never a time in their history where they consistently cohabitated peacefully with a man. There was never a time. They can get pumped and dumped, but they can never get. These are defective product. Like an assembly line. You see this toy, the arm didn't get attached right, and the fucking lights aren't lighting up. It's defective. You gotta throw it out. That's what she is. That's what Jan is from The Office. These are defective women. And the thing is, like I said in older videos, these women are in more, is it turmoil? They're in more suffering. Because they can still dress up and look at least kind of hot from far away. Because like right here, if I seen her, I say, oh yeah, she's holding it together. Until I seen her body, and I'm like, yeah, no, she's fucked up. But the point is, she can still dress up to catch somebody's eye, and she knows it. And she will live in misery until she just gets fat, completely fat and fucked up. Because the fact that she's turning some heads means that she still has hope in what they call a high quality man coming up and approaching them again. And they'll live in that limbo until they just gain 300 pounds and it realize, and then it dawns on them that they can't turn heads anymore. It's like then these defective women come to peace with themselves and they can actually start moving forward. My ex-wife's mother was like that. My ex-wife mother was just like this, and my ex-wife, she's following right in her mom's footsteps. She was just like this. As long as she could turn heads, she would only mess with the best. Then she started hitting 30, 35. It started slowing down, and then she even went. My ex-wife's mother actually went single for like 10 or 20 years because she only wanted the best, but she was falling off. But she hadn't completely fallen off. Then when she completely fell off, she came to terms with it. She dated what they call a lower value man or whatever the fuck, and she got with this dude who he worked on farms and shit like that. He's not a lawyer or anything. He was he's a working man. And she got with him, and she got at peace with herself, and was with him for years after that. That's what these defective women. That's the only thing that I think that can save a flat out defective woman like Darcy, or like my ex-wife or ex-wife's mom, or like Jan from The Office. They have to just take that fall from being able to turn ahead in any kind of way to fully come at peace with themselves, and then actually learn how to grow as a human. Because see, now, as long as she can still turn heads, she will still think that she's 19. I think it was it Tom Likas? One of the motherfuckers said this shit, and this is true. Because I always try to give credit where I take lines from other people, even if it's loosely based. Or it might have been Patrice O'Neal. I can't remember where I got this from, man. But this is another thing. Once girls figure out that they are sexually desirable by men, all mental growth in a woman's brain comes to a halt. Maybe I got it from Donovan Sharp. Maybe he said it. But yeah, this is real shit. Once a girl figures out men like her on a sexual level, all mental maturation stops. Because she is like, oh, I've arrived now. Like my biological process, I've come to my biological purpose on the planet. I am wanted by men sexually to reproduce. I'm here now. I don't have to keep growing. This is what happens with girls. And just like you're seeing with Darcy, or any fucking, woman over 30, 35 who's still strutting around. What's that bitch's name? Miranda Kerr. Miranda Kerr is another one. Google Miranda. That bitch is like 40, 45. And she's gonna turn into a Darcy. Miranda Kerr, you can tell she's getting surgery done to keep her stomach flat and shit. Probably has gastric bypass. But she still looks good. Women's mental maturation stops once they figure out they're sexually desirable to men, and it does not turn back on until, like I say, when do women act right? When they become humble. Either she got fat, she had 16 kids by 25 different men, she's super broke. And then sometimes super broke won't even humble because they know they got a tight ass, so they can just sell it again. This is the mentality of woman. Miranda Kerr is a great example. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to look up Miranda Kerr, and my next video is going to be on her because now I'm focusing on these post-wall thoughts now. But Miranda Kerr still looks good, but she's a Darcy at the core too. She used to be a model, and I'm sure if you don't know who Miranda Kerr is, as soon as you see a picture of her, you'll know. You be, oh yeah, that girl from the 2000s. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
She wanted to say what she wanted to say, and that was it.
Do you feel like this is final?
100% categorically done and dusted.
That's how you got to do older bitches. That sums it up right there. That's how you have to deal with older bitches. You have to just throw them to the fucking curb because they're old. They can't grow anymore. Look, this bitch is 50 with her tits hanging out, Botox. This is sad. Look at that shit. I mean, just because I know what she looks like, with her shirt relatively looser than that. Her tits look good right there, but she looks fucking gross. Later on, you'll see.
I'm glad it's done. It had to end.
Look at this. This bitch is almost 50. Look, walking around looking like this.
He was just coming here to give me the spiel once again.
And look at her. Okay, look at her right here. This bitch is almost 50. And like I said, she's one of those feminist-infused bitches who caught the memo from other reject women who said, you're equal to men, so everything you do is the same as a man. So the fact that she can't keep a man, she is substituting her life with this iPhone, this super expensive jacket. What's that? A Chanel purse down there in the bottom on her arm. This expensive hairstyle. You know those sunglasses? They was at least $200 if they designer. They was at least at minimum $200. I know because I wear sunglasses like that. Look, this bitch, she's trying to substitute her failure in men by buying material objects. You see, she doesn't actually like these material objects. See, I have a Coach bag, a Coach laptop bag. So I'm looking at it right now. I have a Coach bag in there. I got I don't. Okay, I'm not even gonna go into the bragging and what the fuck I got. But the point I'm trying to make is this: men, grown men, if they buy this shit, they buy it because they're one into the art and the craftsmanship of went into it, and two, the longevity. It's that perfectly balanced combination. You could find lumberjack dudes who will go out and buy $500 boots because those $500 hunting boots, the craftsmanship and the longevity is going to save you more money in the long run buying those $500 hunting boots than going to Walmart and buying those $65 cat boots. You see what I'm saying? This is why men buy expensive. Why mentally grown men buy expensive shit. Coach shit, fucking Louis Vuitton. If you want to classify, you can find DKNY. You can find some Calvin Klein that's up there. Calvin Klein's a little lower than that though. But you get what I'm saying. Men buy shit for functionality and longevity. Women buy shit to either one. Women buy this expensive shit to either one, substitute it for their failure of men. So now they can look at this material object and feel happy again. Or two, she's trying to buy it because she's trying to buy this Chanel purse because she's trying to ward off men who can't afford Chanel. And she's trying to attract the men who can afford it. You see, that's why those are the only two reasons why bitches buy shit like that. Period.
Well, you should have said it on the phone weeks ago when you got a new girl that you're in love with. The way that she can love you for you.
When you got a new girl. You're bitch, you 50.
You. Go. Go.
See, look. Okay,
He's not perfect.
Even though she's crying right here, she is more comfortable in this situation than she would be if he was a genuinely good man who treated her well and did whatever she wanted. She is more happy here. She is more comfortable here. She's not comfortable with a man who's going to act, a man who's going to do what she wants and blah blah blah. She's more comfortable. She's more happy. She's more content with a man doing what he wants to do and pumping and dumping her. And she knows it.
He's not perfect.
Yes, he was. And that's exactly why she's crying, because he was perfect. Look at him. You mean to tell me her, with this, she don't think he's perfect? Yeah, she thought he was perfect.
That's not someone I want to be around. I don't deserve to be treated that way.
Yeah, and I believe her. I believe her. I believe her. I believe what she's saying. She probably doesn't feel like she deserves to be treated that way. But look at her resume in dating. Just from this show alone, she doesn't deserve to be treated that way. But it's one of those things where she's happy and content with it. It's her comfort zone. Just like when, okay, let's say an individual worked at McDonald's, right? And he or she was used to working minimum wage for 10 years, 15 years. His family grew up working at McDonald's or Burger King, what have you, right? And then one day, they won the lottery with $140 billion, right? Now, if you look at that scenario without any wisdom, you're going to look at it and be like, oh, well, everything's great now. They got a whole bunch of money, blah, blah, blah. But see, when you look at it with wisdom, you're going to see, look, this is not these people's culture. These people's culture, their livelihood, they're what they are accustomed to is struggling. They're comfortable in that struggle, in the same struggling that they claim that they hate, which they have every reason to hate. This is human nature. They're comfortable in it. That is their home. You see? I want to say there was a Chinese civilization. They like Americans had tried that on a Chinese civilization like years ago. I want to say there was a Chinese civilization that had only lived outdoors, right? They had only lived outdoors for as long as they knew. And it was Americans or somebody, I can't remember what group of people, but whoever it was, they had learned how to build houses and shit, right? So they see these people in these civilizations, they say, "Oh no, you don't have to live like this. Come with us. We'll put you in a house." So they took the Chinese motherfuckers, brought them to their homes, and the Chinese families, they all died within like 3 months because they weren't used to that life. Even though it was better. They're protected from rain. They're protected from harsh winds. It was better, but they were used to it. You see, you have to look at this from a human nature standpoint. And just like the situation I made with the money, a family that has grown up in poverty generation after generation after generation, that's going to be a hard shift once they win that lottery. And it's the same thing with bitches like Darcy and Jan. You see, they know it will be better for them to be with a kind, loving man who cares about them, but it's not their home. Their home is to be with getting pumped and dumped. Their home is not their home is not to genuinely try to make a man happy. Their home is to suck cock and get pumped and dumped and cry. Pretty much on a 3 week to 2 month rotation. This is her home. And the thing is, she doesn't even like that she likes it, but deep down she knows she likes it, and it hurts. And like I said, in the scenario with the people who let's say they get $150 billion lottery, that is going to hurt them in a lot more ways because that family doesn't know that's a whole different way of living, and to continuously live with that throughout time, it would be the same thing as. It would be the same thing as let's say Tom Hanks marrying this bitch. She would be so frustrated with Tom Hanks. I'm just using Tom Hanks as an example because I don't know how he is personally, but you get what I'm trying to say. If she dated like a genuinely, relatively nicer guy, that would put her through more turmoil and trouble and frustration than just getting pumped and dumped by Toms and what's the dude, Jesse's. That's the reality. This is why I say money is not everything. So, and this is why I say, like, if you're glorifying money, it's the same thing. It really is the same. Like you really hate to accept it, but you've grown accustomed to your life. And don't get me wrong. Okay, like when Darcy, let's say these Darcys and Jans, they do fuck around and get a man who's going to treat them right. Yeah, at first they'll be in heaven, because it's the honeymoon phase, and then after that, her normal routine is shifted. It's off. It's off. Just like, let's say, if you came into $100 billion lottery, at first you're gonna buy all the Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Maseratis you can think of, McLarens, whatever the fuck, right? But then after weeks and months of this shit, you'll get bored. You're not gonna know what to do with yourself. You're not gonna fit in with the people in there because you didn't grow up with it. It's gonna throw you off, just like that episode, A Nice Place to Visit with the Twilight Zone. It was the same thing. That actually ended up being the main character's hell. He thought he went to heaven because he was getting everything he actually wanted, but at the end of the episode, it's clear he's actually in hell. And that's where women like this are. When she gets approached by a decent guy, she's actually in hell, and it's sad.